All right, 7th graders, welcome back. We're going to go straight to our vocab foldable today. It's page 3. Today we're going to be talking about perpendicular angles, collinear angles, adjacent angles, and linear pairs. So we got some ground to cover here. So last time we talked about straight angles, supplementary angles, and complementary angles. Hopefully you had a chance to either do your homework or work on IXL to get some practice. So let's go ahead and start with perpendicular. Okay, so perpendicular is two line segments or rays intersecting to form 90-degree angles. Okay, so an example of this, we can see two lines intersecting like this. Well, let's assume this is a line. Let's say this is a ray. Let's give it a name. So this will be AB, and this is CD. Okay, so what this looks like when we write it out is we are going to say line AB. Remember, it has the line over the top with the two angles, or the two pointers to show that it goes on infinitely. And the perpendicular symbol looks like this. So we have line AB is perpendicular, and now this is a ray. So we're going to say ray CD. Notice that my arrow is on the side that continues on, like it's on the D side that continues on. This right here, take note that this is the perpendicular symbol. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is collinear. So go ahead, so if this is the front, you open it like a book, you have all this vocabulary, turn the page. On the back side, you have collinear. That is when points lie on the same line or line segment. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture for you. We can say that these 3 points, point A, B, and C, are collinear because all 3 of them lie on the same line. I never did make my boxes here, and it would sure help to be able to see where they lie. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is adjacent angles. So adjacent angles, they are two angles that share a common vertex and side. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a picture of adjacent angles. Okay, so notice that this has a common vertex. And a common side. Okay. Now, if they have a common vertex but not a common side, they are not considered adjacent angles. If they have a common side but not a common vertex, again, they are not considered adjacent angles. All right, let's look at one more type of angle for our vocab foldable today. Okay, this is a linear pair. You have seen linear pairs already and you didn't even know it yet. It was your supplementary angles that were connected, that were adjacent to each other. So it is two adjacent angles that have non-common sides that form a line. And I'm going to put in parentheses here, it's also considered supplementary. All linear pairs form supplementary angles. And they add to 180 degrees. Okay, so a linear pair looks like this. All right, so that's a linear pair. Now we're going to move on and we're going to just take a few notes on these and so you can see what is and what isn't adjacent angles and linear pairs. So let's go ahead. I'm going to just stick the vocab foldable back where it goes real quick to make sure I don't lose it. It's page 3. Okay, then your teacher should have given you a blank note sheet. So go ahead and take that out. Okay. Okay, so we're going to use facts about adjacent angles and linear pairs to solve problems. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. We've already been exposed a little bit to problems involving linear pairs. So let's go ahead and dive into that a little bit. We're going to get some more practice, and then we'll also look at how this applies to adjacent angles. So let's say that we'll start out small. We've already done this when we were talking about supplementary angles. Okay, so this is 38 degrees, and we would like to find x. Okay, we know that all linear pairs add up to 180 degrees. They are supplementary. So we can say x degrees plus 38 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. And then we're just solving for x here. So we have x is equal to 142 degrees, okay? Let's also see what this looks like when we're talking about adjacent angles. So let's say that we have a set of adjacent angles. Let's give these angles a name, W, X, Y, and Z. And let's say that we know that this whole thing, W, X, Z, so the measure of angle W, X, Z is equal to 112 degrees, okay? Now let's say that this is X and this is X plus 22, okay? And we want to solve for X. Now here we knew that this added up to 180 degrees. Well, these two adjacent angles add up to 112 degrees. So that means we have this angle plus this angle is equal to 112 degrees. So we can combine like terms here. And then we're basically just solving for x. So we're going to subtract 22 from each side.
Hello, how's it going?
Hi, good. So we're going to subtract 22 from each side. So we have 2x, and this is going to be 90 degrees. And we're going to continue solving for our variable. And we can see that x is equal to 45 degrees. Okay? We can also come back up here and say that this angle was 45 degrees. And then 45 plus 22 is going to be 67 degrees. Okay? So that's how we can use linear pairs and adjacent angles to solve problems. I'm going to have you get some practice now. So let me go ahead and give you a linear pair first. Okay. So we have x degrees here, and we have 4x degrees here. Okay, so this is the first one that I want you to try to solve. And then the second one, we're going to do a set of adjacent angles. Sorry about the interruption there. The custodian came in to do a few things, and I just wanted to say hi. So let's go ahead and let's give this a name. Okay. And we're going to say that the measure of this whole angle, CDF, is equal to 72 degrees. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say that this is x and this is 2x. Go ahead and pause your video. Take a moment to see if you can figure out what the variable is for both of those. All right, let me just help to make sure we're good to go. You have x plus 4x is equal to 180 degrees. Combine like terms here. And x is going to be equal to, what is that? 36 degrees? Okay. Which means that this is 36 degrees, and 4 times 36 degrees is 144. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. We know that this whole thing is 72 degrees, and you have this angle plus this angle is equal to 72 degrees. So this is combining like terms, and then go ahead and solve for your variable. This is going to be 24 degrees. Okay, which means this is 24 degrees and this is 48 degrees. Okay, if you get a chance, we're going to wrap it up for today. I do want to give you some time in class to work on IXL. So go ahead and fill out the summary on the back of this sheet and get some time on IXL. Make sure that your homework assignment tonight, I do want to show you. Oh, I don't have a copy in front of me. You don't yet know what vertical angles are. So go ahead and do everything except for vertical angles on that sheet. You're just identifying them. It's pretty straightforward. And then spend the rest of your time in class on IXL, and if you get a chance tonight to work on that also, that would be amazing. So let's go ahead and put this in our binder. Okay, so this is your notes. Adjacent, I'm going to abbreviate, and linear pairs. Okay, and then handout 4, it actually doesn't have a number on it. So when your teacher hands it out to you, go ahead and put a big 4 on there somewhere so that you remember it's handout number 4, and it's going to be page 12 in your notebook or in your binder. So your notes were 11, your handout, your homework tonight is page 12. All right, until next time.